I am your host, Raymond Mutuku. It is, when is today? It is 20th of September 2025, and I'm your host, Raymond Mutuku. We are in the book of First Kings, chapter 8, where Solomon has already finished completing the first temple. We read yesterday that he colluded with Hiram of Tyre. He was able to procure timber, cedar, juniper from Hiram of Tyre. Are we together? Then he also took 30,000 men and put them into forced labor. We read that yesterday. So today, we are not going anywhere. We are still in the process of reading the scripture, and ladies and gentlemen, the gospel will not be chained. Are we together? So I have my scripture here. We'll be reading the scripture and we'll be analyzing the scripture the whole day. We have only 1 month to read the scripture, to finish with the scripture, to analyze the scripture. And I know there are so many people who don't want this program to continue, but we will continue with this program. This program will not be chained. This program will continue unabated. This program will continue whether the devil likes it or not. We are not going to cower. We are not going to be threatened. We are not going to cower. We will continue reading the scripture until Jesus is back. Are we together? So let us continue. After Solomon had dedicated the temple, he did one great thing. He gave a burnt sacrifice to God. And let us read how many cows that he gave. I have my scripture here. And, the king of Israel and all Israel with him offered sacrifices before the Lord. Solomon offered a sacrifice of fellowship offerings to the Lord, 20,000 cows and 120,000 goats, sheep and goats. Those were just burnt sacrifices. He offered 20,000 cows as an offering to God. But you, here, when you're told to carry offering to church, you don't want anything to do with God. You think the pastor wants to eat your money. That is the problem with some of us. When you're told to give to the work of God, you are always stubborn. But look at what Solomon gave. He gave 20,000 cows, and he also gave 120,000 sheep and goats. So the king and all the Israelites dedicated the temple of the Lord. What a wonderful offering he gave. But here you just want to eat. You want to eat, sleep, work, eat, sleep, work, repeat, eat, sleep, work, repeat. But when you are called upon to give to the work of God, that's when you start complaining. You start saying that the pastor wants to eat your money. Let me tell you something, ladies and gentlemen. I went to my pastor and told my pastor, we should give money. We should start the youth of this country. 400 shillings only. This is how much? 200. This is 200. This is 100. This is 50. This is 50. And I gave him the mathematics. I told my pastor, the youth of this church should give 400 shillings every day in the building of the church. I came up with that idea. 400 shillings every day. 400 Kenyan money because of the inflation that we have. If is the amount of money we should give every day. 400 shillings only. Just 400. Just 400. Imekushinda. 400 shillings every day. We are more than 500 youth. If every day we give 400, every day we give just 400. 200, 50, we give 400 shillings. Just 400. What will you be able to do? That is more than I did my mathematics. That is 200,000 shillings a day. In a month, I did my mathematics. Just the youth. That is 6 million a month. The youth have a lot of potential. We are the ones who are going to build our churches. Let's not wait for somebody else to come and do it for us. We are the ones who are going to take the gospel higher. We're just giving 400 shillings every day. It's not a lot of money. 400 shillings. Anybody can afford 400 per day. We give 400, the 500 of us. That is 200,000 a day. We are going to finish building that church in less than a year. That's the youth only. And just the same youth, we can do a lot of things. We can build churches, we can build schools, we can educate children. I was reading also the book of Haggai yesterday night. And the book of Haggai, it tells us, is the only book that talks about the holes in your pocket. The book of Haggai. You know, the scripture talks about the holes in your pocket. Why there are holes in your pocket. Yes. Why there are holes in your pocket. The book of Haggai talks. I was reading the scripture. I have my scripture here. Why there are holes in your pocket. And then I came to realize we are building ourselves good houses. We are building ourselves. We are buying good cars. We are buying land, but we are doing nothing for God. That is why whatever we do, sometimes they miscarry. That is why we are not correct with God. You see, also God also sees the way you're spending your money. Also, God is seeing the way you're buying KFC. You're eating KFC. You know, some of this mathematics we do is wrong mathematics. You go KFC on a Saturday like this one, you go buy KFC, and then Sunday, tomorrow on Sunday, you go and you give the 50 to church. Think about what I'm telling you. You go and buy chicken and chips on Saturday, and then on Sunday, you take 50 bob to church. 50 shillings only to church. Ladies and gentlemen, that is wrong mathematics. You think about what I'm telling you. You'll realize what I'm telling you is correct. You want to buy a Mercedes Benz, very expensive car, but you go to church and give, and when it's time for offering, you run away. God is looking at what you are doing. And when Jesus met the woman, the Samaritan woman, Jesus told the Samaritan woman, God is looking for those who will worship him in truth and in spirit. That is the thing that God is doing. He's looking for those who will work the work of God without murmuring, without complaining, without anything. You work for God expecting nothing. Okay? But remember, Luke chapter 6 verses 38 says, whatever you give, it will always come back to you, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. Ladies and gentlemen, let us serve God. Once you have received Jesus, it also means that your money has also decided to cooperate with Jesus. You have also decided to serve in his church. You have also agreed explicitly to dedicate your money to his work. That is the meaning of receiving Christ in your life. That is the true meaning of receiving Jesus in your life. You have received Jesus, so it means that you have decided to give him his time, to give him your time. You have also agreed implicitly and explicitly to give him your money. You have agreed implicitly and explicitly You have agreed to all the terms and the conditions. Ladies and gentlemen, salvation is an expensive affair. It will cost you your money. You have agreed implicitly and explicitly to work without pay for the work of Christ. But ladies and gentlemen, I know that God is going to do exceedingly abundantly above that we ask or think. Okay? So let us stay tuned.